Dada Sham, welcome to the Sadhu Vaswani Centre-Chennai Satsang. I am deeply, deeply grateful to have the opportunity to be with all of you in the utmost of gratitude to the one who has transformed the lives of so many and so many doctors too around the world, beloved Dada J.P. Vaswani. Titled as the Saint of the Century, yes, yet in his divinity and complete humility, he has borne the suffering of so many and come to us in various forms to guide us. Some, he has come as the beloved of our hearts, to others in the form of a mother, to others in the form of Sri Krishna, beloved Guru, Master, a scientist, a physicist in his early days. All of these forms, yet very little is spoken on the public platform about what goes on behind the scenes with Dada as the holy patient, and more so as the divine doctor himself. Today, we are extremely, extremely blessed to share with you these rare glimpses, the behind the scenes, the sacred relationship of Dada in the form of a patient, the way in which he taught us how to live within the limitations of the physical body and how he bared the difficulties of this body, but also to witness Dada as the divine guru, the divine teacher, the divine doctor himself. To share with us his stories is the esteemed dearest Dr. Vinay Thorat, gastroenterologist from Pune, India, who has treated beloved Dada for approximately 20 years. Just imagine. Thank you, Dr. Thorat, for being with us today. It is such a blessing and honor. For those watching from around the world, hold on tight to your seats. You don't want to miss this. Before we go ahead with Dr. Thorat's experiences, we will receive the beautiful blessing of Gurudev Sadhu Vaswani's Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter, the Arti and the Vachan, followed by the melodies of Dr. Harish Vadvani and Renu Kidumal. Thank you, Dada Sham.
Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter the 12th, shlokas 13 to 20, translated from the original Sanskrit into English rhymed verse by Gurudev Sadhu Vaswani. The Blessed Lord said, "Who hateth none, from self is free, in pleasure pain has poised mind, and is compassionate and kind. My best beloved saint is he, who dedicateth unto me his mind and reason, is content, controlled, his life still in me blent. My best beloved saint is he, who harms no bird nor beast nor flea, and doth not feel disturbed here by any, and is freed of fear. My best beloved saint is he, who nothing wants, doth work for me, yet is from work detached, serene, well balanced, unperplexed and clean. My best beloved saint is he, who fixed in faith and love on me, doth dote on me, yet scorneth none, and fruits of labor all doth shun. My best beloved saint is he, who is alike in pain and glee, in fame and shame, in cold and heat, to foe and friend in strength defeat. My best beloved saint is he, who bears blame, praise, is passion free, who homeless is and firm in mind, in silent love who life doth find. My best beloved saint is he. They who this nectar drink of me, and know the law that giveth life, and cling to faith away from strife, my best beloved saint is he. Om Tat Sat. Thus endeth chapter the 12th of the Bhagavad Gita, entitled Bhakti Yoga, or the Yoga of Devotion.
जय दादा जय हो, जय दादा जय हो, बोलो जय दादा जय हो, जय दादा जय हो। चरण कमल में सिर निवाऊं, उठत बैठत महिमा गाऊं। तू शिव शक्ति तू घनश्याम, तू ही है दिल दिल का धाम। जय दादा जय हो, जय दादा जय हो। तू ही पिता तू मेरी माता, तू भगवंत आनंद दाता। सत्य स्वरूप तू मेरे स्वामी, तू सर्वज्ञ अंतर्यामी। जय दादा जय हो, जय दादा जय हो। ज्ञान और ध्यान तू मेरी युक्ति, तेरे चरणों में मेरी मुक्ति। तेरे दर पर मांगे दूध, दासी अंजलि कीजे कबूल। जय दादा जय हो, जय दादा जय हो। बोलो जय दादा जय हो, जय दादा जय हो, जय दादा जय हो, जय दादा जय हो।
अंजलि संग्रह पेज नंबर 578। प्रभु आहे प्यार, उथी रात आधिय अलख खे ध्याय। जागी जागी रात्यां मिठो राम रिझाए। आही केर प्यारा न कॾहिं विसार, दरी खोले दिल जी तूं दिलबर निहार। जीअरे जग खो कर तूं जुदाई, आही तूं अलख जो छॾ सभु ॿियाई। ही झेड़ा ऐं झगड़ा तूं मां जा तकरार, फिटा कर आहे प्रभु कपे कढ कल्ब मूं। सभु किनो अभिमान, सुख में ऐं दुख में रब अंजलि समान।
Dada Sham. The soul that sings for the Lord can have no limits. We are in the auspicious presence of Dr. Harish Vadvani and Renu Gidumal. Dr. Vadvani, you are not only a treating physician to beloved Dada, but your songs teach us beyond limits. Renu, you are the angel that has been enveloped and sheltered in the divine shawl of the beloved Master himself. We are eagerly awaiting your melodies, the melodies that may not only release us from the toxins of the body, but toxins of the soul. If we can please bring Dr. Vadvani ji and Renu Gidumal ji onto the platform. Thank you.
Dada Sham,
Dada Sham,
Dada Sham.
we are grateful to the Chennai Center, SPC Center of Chennai, for inviting us again and again and giving us an opportunity to seek the blessings of not only the followers at Chennai, but globally of the entire Dada family. Renu and I seek your blessings and do Charan Vandana at each and everybody's feet.
Dada Sham.
जगमग ज्योत जीवन में जागे, जागे एक प्यारी प्यार। जगमग ज्योत जीवन में जागे, जागे एक प्यारी प्यार। प्यार पियूं ऐ प्यार प्यारियों, प्यार पियूं ऐ प्यार प्यारियों। एक नीह लंघे पार, एक नीह लंघे पार।
प्यार मिलो प्यार के, प्यार मिलो प्यार के। नूर मिले मन ठार के, नूर मिले मन ठार के। प्यारे दस्तो प्यारे राह, प्यार बिना मैं जो कुछ प्यारे ईश्वर प्यार वाला, प्यार बिना मैं वो कुछ चाह।
प्यारे हंसो प्यारे राह, प्यार बिना नाम जो कुछ प्यार ईश्वर प्यार अल्लाह, प्यार बिना नाम जो कुछ
हिक हिक खेलो प्यारे प्यार,
हिक हिक खेलो
प्यारे प्यार।
प्यार दे हली पहुँचो पार,
प्यार दे हली पहुँचो पार।
प्यार 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 प्यार। प्यार प्यार प्यार
प्यार बिना नबी का शक्ति,
प्यार बिना नबी का शक्ति,
प्यारे आहे सच्ची भक्ति,
प्यारी आहे सच्ची भक्ति,
प्यारी परम पुरुष जोता,
प्यार परम पुरुष जोता,
प्यार पहुँचाए बदलेवान,
प्यार ही पहुँचाए बदलेवान, करने को प्यार प्यार करने को प्यार प्यार
प्यार दिल गली पहुँचो पार,
प्यार की हरी पहुँचो पार, प्यार 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 प्यार
खेल रांझल जा बेकसान, दुख रब का था बेनिशान,
खेल रंग जा बेकसान, दुख रब का जा बेनिशान,
दिल री प्रीत सिक में सगे
तेरी प्रीत सिक में सजे, किया कारीगर खेल करे,
दिल री प्रीत सिक में सगे, ये कारीगर खेल करे,
खिल खिल में आ खिल खिल में,
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 खिल खिल में आ 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 खिल खिल में, खेल रांझल जा बेकसान, दुख रब का था बेनिशान।
तस्वीर प्यार को पार खाए,
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 बड़ी साथियों को पार खाए,
बड़ी साथियों को पार खाए,
मौज मंसूरी चित्त में चाहे,
मौज मसूरी चित में चढ़े
मौज मंसूरी चित्त में चाहे
दिलरी पे सिंह में सने
सिंह में सने किया कारीगर खेल करे
दिलरी पे सिंह में सने किया कारीगर खेल करे
खिन खिन में खिन खिन में ओ खिन खिन में खिन खिन में कदे रोशन चमके रहम
कदे रोशन चमके रहम
कदे अंदर दिल में गम
कदे दिल में गम
नूरी बेगाई रड़े रड़े
दूरी में कोई रड़े रड़े
नूरी बेगाई नूरी बेगाई नूरी बेगाई रड़े रड़े
दिलरी पे सिंह में सने
दिलरी पे सिंह में सने कारीगर खेल करे
दिलरी पे सिंह में सने किया कारीगर खेल करे
खिन खिन में खिन खिन में
खिन खिन में
खिन खिन में खिन खिन में खिन खिन में खिन खिन में ओ खिन खिन में 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 खिन खिन में
बड़ो तुम जो पानी नदियार हार बड़ो तुम जो पानी नदियार हार भव सागर भारी तार रमातार भव सागर भारी तार रमातार
जो पानी आर पार वडो जो पानी नदी आर पार सागर धारी कार रब्बा सागर धारी कार रब्बा
तार 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 रब्बा तार तार तार
तार तार दादा तार तार तार
तार रब्बा तार दादा दादा तार तार
ओ तार
रब्बा तार दादा दादा तार तार
जो पानी
यार मार बड़ो तुम जो पानी
अथम कीन सत अथम कीन शक्ति
अथम कीन सत्य अथम कीन शक्ति
अथम कीन ज्ञान अथम कीन भक्ति
अथम कीन ज्ञान अथम कीन भक्ति
अथम के अंदर बस एक पुकार
अथम दिल के अंदर बस एक ही अजीब दुलारा के महनिहार अजीब दुलारा के महनिहार
मेहर निहार मेहर निहार दे मेहर निहार
दादा दे दादा एक महनिहार
मेहर निहार मेहर निहार दे मेहर निहार
दादा एक महनिहार
तार 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 रब्बा तार 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 रब्बा तार 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 रब्बा तार दादा दादा तार 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 रब्बा तार दादा दादा तार तार
बजो तुम जो पानी नकियार मार बजो तुम जो पानी अगरमा जन्मा किया करया बंद
अगर माँ टुटल माँ किया करया बंद
चेतन हाया बसा तोखे हर
तेरे हार्या पसा तुझे हर हंद
खपी की न पियो कुछ खपी जा साई
खपे की न प्यो कुछ कभी तो मिटा साई
हित हुत हर तू ही आई
होत हर हंद तू ही आई
तू ही तू ही तू ही तू ही आई
तू ही तू ही तू ही तू ही तू ही आई
मुझा साई que तू ही आई
मिंजा साई एक तू ही आई
तार 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 रब्बा तार तार तार
तार तार तार तार तार तार तार
तार रब्बा तार दादा दादा तार तार
तार रब्बा तार दादा दादा तार तार
बजो तुम जो पानी नकियार मार बजो तुम जो पानी
सज्ञा प्यो मां तोखे सुर अंजलिया जी पुकार सुर अंजलिया जी पुकार
सत्या प्यो मातो के सुर अंजलिए जी पुकार
सज्ञा प्यो मां तोखे सुर अंजलिया जी पुकार
सत्या प्यो मातो के सुर अंजलिए जी पुकार
बुरा की न प्यो कुछ भगत मेहर निहार
बुरा की न प्यो कुछ वक़्त महर निहार
दे दादा दे दादा दे मेहर निहार
दे दादा एक महर निहार
दे दादा दे दादा एक मेहर निहार
दे दादा एक महर निहार
तार 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 दादा तार 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 दादा दादा तार ओ तार 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 दादा दादा तार
तार तार
हम सागर भारी तार तार हम सागर भारी तार तार दादा
As we celebrate also Radha Ashtami, we bow down at the lotus feet of this beautiful couple of Lord Krishna and Sri Radha. May we learn the lesson of selfless love and beautiful devotion from this divine couple. जागी जागी रात्या क्यों तुमने पुकारे
जागी जागी रात्या क्यों तुमने पुकारे
राणा राणा क्यों तुमने पुकारे
राणा मैया राणा क्यों तुमने पुकारे
जो रहे राणा क्यों तुमने पुकारे
राणा गुरु हरो दुआरे किरण आओ आजा अची तो थार
अच्छी उधार
विनायक जी मेहर निहार
विनायक के महर निहार
के रहम है प्रीतम रहम तुझे प्रीतम
करे वापदायूं या थामा
करे वापदायूं या थामा
दादा दादा या थामा
प्यारा Dada Madhyatmama.
जो रहन है गाना गुरु
जो रहन है राणा गुरु
Dada Sham, everyone. Thank you so much to the Chennai Centre. We are indeed so honored and grateful to be invited and to be in everybody's beautiful company. Dada Sham.
Dada.
Dada Sham, we have been lifted into the heavens. If any toxins, if we're talking about the divine doctor himself today, if any toxins were present on our physical body, Dr. Dada, through Dr. Vaswani and Renuji, have lifted them off. Thank you very, very much. Now, if I may ask to bring Dr. Vinay Thoratji onto the platform. A few very humble words about this great soul. Dr. Vinay Thoratji completed his DM in gastroenterology. Hello, sir. Well, a very warm, hearty welcome to you.
Thank you.
Sir, just a few humble words about you, though they are not adequate, so forgive me, but just a short introduction about who you are for the viewers from around the world to know. Dr. Thoratji completed his DM in gastroenterology from the University of Delhi at the age of 27 and was the youngest person to have ever completed a DM in any specialty. He also completed his PhD in gastroenterology from Pune University and is the first and only gastroenterologist to hold a DM and a PhD in gastroenterology in the entire world. I did not know all of this. So beyond humbled, sir, to have you be with us today. And far beyond any words that can describe your academic and career achievements, beyond all of that, you are the treating physician of the divine himself, the divine master, Dada J.P. Vaswani, for almost approximately 20 years. So a very, very, very warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Asha. Thank you very much.
Sir, we're going to keep this as a conversation. There is going to be far more than the allotted 25 minutes to learn from you. But this cherished doctor-patient relationship is one that already for a doctor is so precious. And when Dada comes in the form of a patient, it is far more exponentially magnified and illuminated. So the first part, sir, if you can start by telling us, when was the first time you met Dada?
I think it was way back in year 1999-2000, and I was working in Inlax, and that time I got a call saying that Dada is unwell and you have to go and see him. And I went there, and there was a slight problem, and of course it was not serious, but then I examined Dada and we started the treatment. And the whole experience with Dada was actually not so much worried about his illness. I mean, he obviously he was in pain and he was unwell, but he was always smiling. And Dada, he said, "Yeah, it's all right. Whatever is happening, no problem." I mean, he was not showing his suffering. That was quite surprising and amazing also. And because what he had was a painful condition. And then after we started treatment, Dada realized that I was getting a bit restless. So he said, "What happened, doctor? Do you have to go anywhere?" So I said, "Dada, actually today is Ashadi Ekadashi, and I've been going to Pandharpur on this day for the last so many years. So I thought, if you allow me, I'll go and just go to the temple and come back at night and see you, because now the things are settling down, and there are so many other doctors here who are equally competent. Probably, I think I'm honored that you called me despite all these people being here." So Dada said, "No, you don't drive. I'll see that someone will take you there, and you take your time at the temple, and then you come back whenever you are comfortable. Don't worry about me. I'll be all right." So I went, and amazingly, we reached there. I could, by the grace of God and by Dada's good wishes, get the darshan. And the same night, I could be with Dada at 9 o'clock, which was really amazing. It never happened to me before in this whole thing.
Wow.
So I think that was destined to happen. That was the meeting that was destined to be, and the beginning of a very long association.
You know, Dr. Threat, it reminds me of a beautiful story when you talk about Pandharpur, that you know, Sadhu Vaswani and Dada, there's this beautiful story about how, you know, Dada wanted to take Sadhu Vaswani to Pandharpur, and he wanted him to attend this big conference that Sadhu Vaswani was the chief, you know, the guest for. And he wanted to go with Sadhu Vaswani also. And ultimately, Sadhu Vaswani taught him the lesson that why is it, my child, that you want to go to Pandharpur? Why don't you go Andarpur? Why don't you go within? And there's also that sacred story that Dada has taught us about how at the lotus feet of the Guru is where all the pilgrimages lie. And I know that you've had many a times experiences behind closed doors with beloved Dada. At what point did you realize that he was not an ordinary human being? At what point did you realize that perhaps you did not have to go anywhere else but to his lotus feet?
Yeah, I think the first few years I met Dada, and at that time we were just like, it was a patient and doctor relationship. So I didn't interact with him as much. And but what happened as the years went by, maybe a few years later, I remember that was the time before Dada went for his first, maybe his bypass surgery. And I think Dr. Chablani also would recollect that, who's from Chicago. And then at that time, when it was still being decided whether he should undergo that surgery or not, and that was the time when I really came close to him and started knowing him as a person, not as a patient. And at that time, then I used to go to the mission in the evening. I used to sit with Dada, and people used to come and visit him. And at that time, people who used to come and meet Dada for their problems, whatever they were, and they used to go away, and it's very difficult to pinpoint that this person had this problem or that, because you can share a experience but you can't share the experience, if you know what I mean. So Dada was the experience actually. And when we used to come out, and I used to see some of them still there in the hall or sometimes sitting outside, they were relieved, and I knew that this was something different happening. I mean, Dada didn't give them any radical solution, nothing like you do this prayer or you go there and you do this. Very simple things to do, and that was transforming them. And I said, this is really amazing that such things can really happen when you meet a person and you go away a changed person. So, to whatever extent, it's not possible for everyone to change 100%, but some change, to bring about a change in one or two meetings is a big thing. So this is not an ordinary thing that's happening here, I think. So, and that improved upon as the things went by, and as time went by, and I kept meeting him more often, and this experience became stronger. Then I could gather that this is something which is really different. Dada is something who's really different.
Was there ever a time where that feeling that he is beyond, that he's the all-knowing, was there ever a time where you were scared of that? Did it ever make you uneasy?
relationship was so comfortable that I never was uneasy in his presence. Relationship was, it can't be described. Can't be described as brother, can't be described as friend. And the best relation is pure, a pure relationship. And purity cannot be described. There is no description for that because it can't be weighed, can't be measured. You can't measure it in centimeters, you can't weigh it in kilograms. So that relationship is what we all strive for, and I'm fortunate I had it with the others. So it was a pure relationship.
I love that. Purity cannot be measured. It cannot. I mean, what a beautiful thought to take away, Dr. Thorat. Now, when you talk about Dada's pain, knowing that he's beyond a normal human being, how did he teach us through the pain of his physical body? How did he teach us to live in the sufferings that we have to bear in our physical bodies?
Very important was in all these years, and even when Dada was admitted in the hospital, um, he was unconcerned about his problem. He used to be in pain, but his face used to be smiling. And we could make out, I could make out, I knew that this condition sometimes causes a lot of pain, but he never showed it. So, in a way, maybe that he had such enormous control over, I think that must have been really a supernatural control over his physical body and physical feelings of pain or whatever, that somehow he used to say that, see, I am not taking this pain onto my soul. It's in the body. And so I can handle the emotions of my body. So you should also move on to that particular platform. Very difficult for us, I tell you. Even if your hand bites me just now, I'll be screaming in front of all of you on this broadcast. So it's not simple. So maybe you have to go through a lot of soul searching. You have to go through a lot of divine experiences. You have to be that genuinely pure in your actions and thought, and then you can probably reach the stage where Dada finally reached that he could dissociate himself from the physical body, and he could go much beyond that.
Dr. Thorat, there was a beautiful quote that I found in the Messenger of Love book by Didi Krishna Kumari and Prabha Sampath that aligns so well with what you just said. And I'll just read it out to you. It relates to how the month of mercy in the month of May in 2010 came about, as to how after Dada's tremendous suffering, the major fall that occurred at that time, how did that, what should we call this amazing recovery? And Dada said, quote, I feel that God, in his infinite mercy, has chosen me to bear this cross of pain and suffering in order to lighten the load of others and bring comfort and relief to their distressed lives. Those words are words that say it all, that he has taken it on, the suffering and the pain of so many, onto himself by his grace. And to see the amount of pain and physical pain, like you said, it was not visible, but just to see how at times Dada would be suffering, it just brings tears that Dada's doing all of this for all of us. One of the things, Doctor, that is really precious is the part, you can say part of your dharma. Being a doctor is so sacred. Knowing Dada for approximately 20 years, how did Dada transform the way that you practice medicine, that you treat your patients?
Yeah, so of course, all of us who are in any profession, maybe we are doctors or in whatever profession. So we always have our patients and we treat all of them. But once when I was talking to the other said, Doctor, you are doing the OPD at Inlax. I said, yes, I am doing. And he said, we had charged very little for the OPD at Inlax. So I asked 10 rupees. I said, Dada, there are so many doctors uh, who may not be happy with these charges at Inlax, which are low. This is Doctor, let me tell you one thing. There are two types of patients. One who can afford doctors, and the other is who can't afford doctors. And for those who can't afford doctors, there is no choice. But some of you who are sitting there in these OPDs and doing some charitable work, those who can afford, they can go any place. They can go to Mumbai, they can go to Delhi, if they are well off, they can go to London, New York, wherever. So I really thought on the way back when I was driving, I said, how true this sentence is. So what is the point in educating yourself to this extent when the people who need you can't reach you? I mean, this it makes it all meaningless. And by the grace of God, all that came back, the form that I had a major heart attack in 2008. And I think it's the blessing of all those patients which pulled me through that massive attack that today, after 13 years, I am completely a normal person. So I think somewhere those blessings have helped. And I think so that whatever that little twist happened in my outlook, because what Dada spoke to me, I think that probably may have changed everything for me. I don't know, but I think there was a contribution there.
And Dr. Thorat, what was that? What can you tell us a scenario, one scene in your life where medical expertise by the books and by practice was overturned by Dada's infinite wisdom?
So I can tell you this, that I was in the mission and there was a bhajan going on by Anup Jalotaji's father, and who was performing in the mission. So, and I used to come at that time, so I came there and Dada was sitting there, and the mission was still the old mission, not the new one as you know it now. So I came and I sat with Dada, because Dada was sitting down and I also sat down. And then I could not get up after very much like you see me sitting here. I could not get up because of a very severe backache. And I had taken a lot of painkillers in 1 week, but nothing seemed to be helping. So Dada said, no, doctor, I think if you have so much problem, you must go to the hospital. And what will help you is there are some people from Kerala who are doing some therapy for the back. And they said those people are fortunately at the Inlax hospital. So you go there, and I'm sure they'll help you. And I'll tell you, miraculously, after about 10 days, the backache went away and almost totally, and touch wood till date, I have not had that problem till date. Almost miraculous. So it's like you have a lock and you take it to the, only the key maker knows that this is the right key for this lock. So it is not necessary that you go to the Godrej company owner or the keymaker will. He knows that this will help this person, and that knowing that is rather important, and that makes you a super doctor. What will help you physically, what will help you spiritually. So he had the keys.
He had the keys, he has the keys, he will always have the keys. Right, Dr. Thorat?
Absolutely. And he's more than willing to open the door for you.
We'll have to keep on knocking. We'll have to keep on knocking.
Yeah.
Dr. Thorat, Dada became a part of your family, your kids, your wife. What was that like?
Very good, because I know my daughter used to come, and she still loves to come to Satsang. As a matter of fact, she was here just a couple of weeks back. And my son, so at that time, I think my son was about 2.5, 3 years old, and the mission was undergoing renovation. So we were staying in Konark Estate. Dada was staying in Konark Estate. And then that was, I think, Janmashtami night. And Dada said, come over in the evening. So we went there. And my son was very young. And he had a glass in his hand. And he just threw that glass on the floor and broke it. Dada was sitting in front. So everyone had very different expressions. I was feeling very embarrassed. My wife was feeling embarrassed. My son, he was so young, so he was not bothered. And the maids, of course, must be very angry because they had to clean up. Dada said, no problem. He said, now Dahi Handi has been broken, so we can all now start the festivities. So for every situation, he had something different. And they all got very close to him. I think Dada became a big part of their lives also. So, and I'm sure somewhere that guiding force is still with them. So Janvi, especially my daughter, is very attached. He comes to the mission actually. She comes to the Satsang. So it's now as if still Dada is part of the family, and I'm sure he is guiding us.
You brought up Dahi Handi. I mean, what perfect timing with this week being the celebration of Lord Krishna and today being the auspicious Krishna Chatti. This is the perfect time to bring that up. Thank you. You know, we have a few minutes left, Dr. Thorat, and I want to really take us behind closed doors to that sacred sanctity that was, you and Dada. Take us there through those you had the precious opportunity to be with Dada in those last few months till his last breath. Take us there.
I actually was out of Pune, and at that time, I think it was 6 months before Dada left body to move on. So that time I came to Dada and I met him, and Dada had just recovered from some abdominal problem. And we were insisting to Dada, you must do this test and we should do that test. And that time I think me and Dada were in the room alone for almost half an hour. And at that time I realized that there is one person in this room who's telling me the complaints of abdominal pain, not being able to eat. And there's another person who's telling me that don't do anything. Why are you doing all this, doctor? What is the purpose? Why do you want me to eat? Why do you want me to undergo these tests? So that person was Dada, who had already moved on to a different level. And he at that time was giving all of us a subtle message that you don't be so much attached to your body. Go beyond. When you sleep, that's the only time when you stop thinking. But if you are awake and you stop thinking, that is the state of samadhi, where you are not concerned about your body. So in a way, even the last 6 months, I think Dada spent with us to give us a message. And that was what happened. And I think ultimately in the end, Dada said that no, there are some things that you should not be so much attached to it. That is your physical body. Whatever you do, you help others. That is the best way to achieve nirvana. Be pure. Don't lie. Don't cheat. Don't be dishonest. Help everyone. You have 1,000 rupees. You're not going to carry it with you. Give 500. You will feel better. That 500 extra is a burden you are carrying. Give it away. Those were the last 6 months, and the only regret I have is that I didn't spend time with him as often. I could not because he was busy. I used to get caught up, and that is the big regret. But those were the times when I have seen a very amazing phenomenon in my life, which can't be described in medicine, but it did happen.
Friends, beloved Dada as the doctor, the most divine, wise, humble, loving doctor that one may be so blessed to ever come across on this earth plane. And we were all very, very, very blessed to be in his midst and even now on this platform to be in his midst and forever. You know, that poem always comes back. The poem that Dada wrote before he left the physical body, that those who remember me, I will always be with. And so Dada is always there. Dada is always healing us. Dada is always guiding us. Dada is always blessing us. Dr. Thorat, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to be with us today. Those hands that heal. You know, Dada says na, that the hands that heal are holier than the hands that turn the beads of the rosary. Sir, when we're off this virtual platform one day, I look forward to just getting just one touch of your hand on my head as a blessing for all those years that you have served the Master. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your seva. Thank you for everything that you're doing for humanity, sir.
Thank you very much.
On that note, we move forward to the much, much awaited Upadesh of beloved Dada J.P. Vaswani in his words. Thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you for having me and for teaching me so much on this platform. Thank you to Dr. Thorat, to Dr. Harish Vadvani, to Renu Gidumalji, and to the entire team of Sadhu Vaswani Centre, Chennai. Thank you very much. Dada Sham.
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Dada Sham. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Dada Sham.
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Dada Sham. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Dada Sham.
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Dada Sham. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Dada Sham.
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Dada Sham. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Dada Sham.
Dada Sham, Dada Sham, Dada Sham, Dada Sham.
Dada Sham, Dada Sham, Dada Sham, Dada Sham.
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Dada Sham. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Dada Sham.
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Dada Sham. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Dada Sham.
Friends and fellow devotees of the Lord, namaskars to every one of you. The law of life is first things must be done first. Whatever is most important to us must be done now. And the most important thing for all of us is the higher life that we seek. Therefore, we should start the work now. Now is the time. Now is the right season. There can be no postponement. Even the best of us is likely to be confused over what is most important in our life. Let me tell you of Rabia and Hassan Darwish. Once, Rabia was sitting on the banks of a river when Hassan Darwish came over to see her. He threw his straw mat into the waters of the river, and turning to Rabia, he said, Rabia, come, let us sit upon this mat and meditate. Hassan Darwish had acquired extraordinary powers, siddhis, whereby he could stay afloat on the water. He wanted to demonstrate his power to Rabia and the world. But Rabia saw through this. She felt that it would only be a public display to impress people and not really an exercise in meditation. She said to Hassan, if you want to meditate on God, I have a better way. Rabia then threw her prayer mat in the air and said to Hassan Darwish, come, Let us rise in the air and meditate. Hassan was taken aback. He replied, "This is beyond me. I can only float on the water. That is the extent of my power." Rabia said to him, "What you can do, even a fish can do. And what I can do, a tiny fly can also do. But we are neither fish to float in the water, nor flies to fly in the air. Let us not forget the real purpose and the true goal for which we have received this human birth." Sant Kabir says, "What you can do tomorrow, do it today. What you can do today, do it right now." For the holy ones tell us that this human birth is rare and precious. Any good thing that you wish to do tomorrow, do it today. Don't postpone it. Do it right now. Our time is limited, and we should not waste it in false pursuits. This life of ours is rare and precious, and not a moment should be wasted. I remember one night a man came to me around the hour of midnight. Surprised, I asked him, "What brings you here at this late hour?" He replied, "I have come to give 25,000 rupees to you for the service of the poor." A little surprised, I murmured, "But what is the hurry? Surely we cannot carry out service of the poor at this hour." The brother replied, "I was lying in bed when the thought came to me that I should donate something for the poor. I did not want to wait till the morning, for who knows what might happen between now and tomorrow. I might change my mind during that time, or I might not live to see the morrow. And so I came running to you at this late hour. God gave me a good thought, and I want to translate this good thought into a good act right now. I don't want to postpone this till tomorrow, for tomorrow may never come." My dear friends, if you wish to do a good deed, do it now. Do not wait for the right moment, the appropriate moment, the auspicious moment, for it will never come. Whether it is a good deed which you wish to perform, or a spiritual sadhana that you wish to practice, the right time is now. Many years ago, someone said to me that it was good to practice meditation at the auspicious and sacred hour of Brahma Muhurat, that is between 4 and 6 early in the morning. I was determined to follow his advice, but try as I might, I could not wake up so early in the morning. I would sleep over, I would postpone it to another time. Every day I told myself, "Today let me sleep a bit, tomorrow I shall wake up at the dawn." In this way a whole year passed by. I was appalled. I chided myself severely. Enough is enough, I said to myself. I shall not sleep tonight. I shall not allow the sacred hour to slip by. At long last, with great determination, I trained my mind and accomplished my purpose. Friends, it is said of Mahatma Gandhi that once when he was in jail, he came across a very poor man who served him graciously. Gandhiji said to him, "If ever you are in need of anything, do come to me. I will do whatever I can." Many years passed. There was famine in the poor man's village. Remembering Gandhiji's words, the man went to Gandhiji's ashram At that time, Gandhiji was in an important meeting. The man sent Gandhiji a message, "I hope you remember me. We were together in jail, and you had promised that you would help me whenever I needed it. I would like to take up your kind offer of help now, if you will permit me." As luck would have it, Gandhiji was preoccupied with the meeting, and he could not go and meet the man then and there. When the meeting was over, Gandhiji sent for him, but the poor man had left by then. He had gone away thinking that Gandhiji might have forgotten their days together in the jail. After all, he thought, Gandhiji was a great, great man, and he only a poor, downtrodden peasant. He was mistaken, for Gandhiji was a kind and sensitive soul. Gandhiji sent people in search of the man, but he could not be found. Neither his address nor his whereabouts were known to anyone. Gandhiji was despondent. He repented the few minutes' delay which had prevented him from meeting the man. He could have very easily taken a break from the meeting and come out to meet this man, but he hadn't, and he had not been able to keep his promise to the man. Would you believe it? Gandhiji carried this regret all his life. As they say, time and tide wait for no man. While we are preoccupied, life keeps speeding on. Once a small child went out shopping with her mother in the city of Paris. On the way, he saw an old man holding out his shabby cap upside down in his hand. In rich cities like Paris, begging in public is not allowed. So poor men hold out their caps to get a few coins. Seeing the man, the small child said to her mother, "Mama, how much money do you have?" The mother smiled indulgently and said to the child, "Enough to buy you whatever you like." "In that case, can I have a few coins to give to this poor man?" The mother was angry. She said to her child, "You do not know the value of money." And she dragged the child away forcibly from the spot. She was sure that the child would forget the man after some time, but all the while they were shopping, the picture of the old man haunted the child. The mother was coaxing her to buy candy and chocolates, but the girl remained adamant, refusing all the goodies offered to her. She only said, "I don't want candies. I don't want chocolates. Give me some money so that I can drop it in the poor man's cap." The mother, on her part, was stubborn as well. She felt that she would be losing her authority if she gave in to the child's demand. Mother and daughter returned home after a very unhappy shopping expedition. That night the child could not sleep. She kept murmuring, "Mama, Mama, please give me some money for the poor man." The mother was perturbed and promised the child that she could go back next day and drop as many coins as she liked into the man's cap. It was well past midnight when the child finally fell asleep. Next day, the mother took the child to the spot where the old poor man had been, but he was nowhere to be found. The child began to weep, and the mother felt very sad. Strange are the ways of fate. The following day the child met with an accident and died instantly. The mother was distraught. She cried out, "What have I done? Just for a little money, I broke your heart and did not fulfill your wish. I can never ever forgive myself as long as I live." My dear brothers and sisters, let us put every moment of our lives to the best possible use. Let us wake up before it is too late. Let us not waste this rare opportunity of the human birth. Whatever good we can do, let us do it today. Rather, let us do it now, at this very moment, and be richly blessed. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Not only from east to west, but from north to south too. All around the globe, the intelligent choice of intelligent readers. East and West series by Dada J.P. Vaswani.
Available at Geeta Publishing House, 10 Sadhu Vaswani Path, Pune 411001.
प्रभु तेरी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है। प्रभु तेरी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है। करते हो तुम प्रभु जी, मेरा नाम हो रहा है। करते हो तुम प्रभु जी, मेरा नाम हो रहा है। प्रभु तेरी ही कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है। प्रभु तेरी ही कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है। तकलीफ और तंगी में नूर एक तू ही मददगार। उठाए हैं अंजलि के जन्मों के सारे भार। करता नहीं मैं कुछ भी, सब काम हो रहा है। करते हो तुम हो दादा, मेरा नाम हो रहा है। दादा तेरी ही कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है। सब काम हो रहा है। सब काम हो रहा है। दादा श्याम।